on here and we can get going.
All right. Welcome, everybody, City of Fairview Planning Commission. It is Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. Can I get a roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Dew?
Here.
Commissioner Mondero?
Here.
Commissioner Williams?
Here.
Commissioner Hooper?
Here.
Commissioner Pearson?
Here.
Commissioner Walters?
Here.
And Chair Holcomb.
Present. Thank you. All right. So do we have any citizens wishing to speak on non-agenda items? Okay. Then we will move on to the adoption of minutes from December 9th. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes?
We have.
Any corrections?
I move that we accept the minutes from December 9th, 2025.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes from December 9th, 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, minutes are approved. Okay, public hearing. The public hearing on ordinance 03-2026 and land use file 2025-48-TA is called to order. The proposed amendment for discussion this evening is an ordinance amending the City of Fairview Municipal Code, Chapter 19.30, residential districts, to add residential care facilities as a conditional use in the R10 zoning district, subject to certain standards. Conduct of the hearing. The order of business we will follow in conducting this hearing will be A, a staff report, B, correspondence, C, public testimony, D, additional staff comments, E, questions from the commission, F, hearing closed, no testimony from the audience, G, discussion by commission and recommendation. Any interested person may present testimony concerning the proposed amendments. Testimony. When you come to the podium, please state your name and mailing address for the record, as this hearing is being recorded. For disclosure. At this time, I would like to ask members of the commission to disclose any ex parte contacts, bias, or conflicts of interest. Please indicate the nature and extent of the ex parte contact, bias, or conflict of interest, and indicate whether you intend to participate in or abstain from the hearing. All right, well, I drive by here at least twice every school day. So that's it. Does any member of the audience wish to challenge any commission member's impartiality? Okay. Staff report. City staff will now give us the staff report.
Excuse me, can I have a question? I'm sorry, but I live across the street.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes, so
Thank you.
just want to make that clear.
Okay.
Across the street from.
Are we still? Okay. All I saw was heads shaking now, so.
Okay, good evening, Commissioners. The item before you is the Residential Care Facilities Code Amendment. So going over this application, so the requested text amendment in front of you is to allow for residential care facilities as a conditional use in the R10 zoning district subject to special standards. We're also going to be amending the specific section within our residential code that kind of references the residential care facilities. We are going to strike a old language that referred to the that these facilities need to meet the base zone parking standards. And like we had went over last year, we've repealed the off-street parking minimum. So this is just kind of a leftover hold from that period. So we're going to strike that from the language, as well as add language that specifies that if you are to develop a residential care facility in the R10 zone, it must be on property that both is adjacent to a minor arterial road and also takes primary access from that road. So the applicable criteria is 19.205 amendments, 19.413 type 4 procedures, and 19.470 land use district map and text amendments. The notices for this, so a notice was posted in the Outlook. We are required to do a 35-day notice to the Department of Land Conservation and Development and Metro on December 22nd, 2025. We mailed notices to the property owners that own property that would be both in the R10 zoning district and along the minor arterial road that they take access from. So there's a total of 7 properties that were mailed a notice. By noon today, we did not receive any sort of written testimony on the application. So going into some background about what a residential care facility is. In our code, it's defined as a facility licensed by or under the authority of the Oregon Department of Human Resources, which provides residential care alone or in conjunction with treatment or training or a combination thereof for 6 to 15 individuals who don't need to be related. These facilities provide 24-hour care in a home-like setting for adults and individuals with disabilities. The applicant owns and operates currently a residential care home located at 20435 Northeast Halsey Street, which is also in the R10 zoning district. And the difference between the residential care home versus the residential care facility that we're talking about tonight is just the number of individuals within the facility. So if you operate a residential care home, you're limited to under 6 individuals. Anything from 6 to 15 is considered a residential care facility. Both of them are going to look residential in nature. It's just kind of depending on the size of how many people are at each home. The applicant's requesting this text amendment in order to be able to develop a residential care facility on the adjacent property to the property that she currently owns in the future. So looking at where residential care facilities are permitted today, so they're permitted outright in 2 zoning districts, both the medium density as well as the village apartment, and they are conditionally allowed in town center commercial and the corridor commercial districts. State statute requires that residential care facilities are permitted in any zone where multifamily is permitted. So that's why residential, or the medium density residential as well as the village apartment both allow for multifamily outright. So residential care facilities are also allowed outright. And then conditionally, the residential care facilities can be conditional in zones where multifamily is also conditional. So in our pre-application meeting with the applicant, we recommended, instead of a broad, residential care facilities can be conditionally allowed in all properties that are zoned R10, we felt that this particular use, since it does have a little bit more traffic than a typical, single unit dwelling on one specific lot, we figured that since there's a little bit more traffic generated by it, it would be best to have it only applicable to those along Halsey Street. So those are just 7 properties that meet those requirements. So you must be bordering against Halsey Street, as well as your primary access has to be from Halsey Street itself. Halsey Street is classified as a minor arterial roadway, and we felt that that classification of road is able to handle any sort of increase in traffic versus if they were constructing this off of one of the smaller local residential streets where you would notice an increase in traffic. So in front of you is a zoning map that shows the proposed area. So the larger map has the different zoning districts around it. So what we're focusing on is particularly around the intersection of 205th and Halsey Street on both the east and west side of that street. So you can see that the R10 district kind of goes north from all the way along 205th Street, and it is surrounded by some R6 on the east, as well as the residential density, which is the apartments to the west, as also the apartments to the south, and Reynolds Middle School District. The smaller map that has the red outlines on it are the properties that are applicable to this. So that is specifically just the ones that abut Halsey, as well as take primary access from Halsey. So if the amendment is approved as proposed, the applicant is required to apply for a conditional use permit to develop the residential care facility on that property. So that's the type 3 land use application. That would be something that goes in front of this commission. They're also subject to the same site development and design standards as other single unit dwellings in that same zoning district. which is essentially how the residential care homes are also currently regulated. That just ensures that we're meeting the clear and objective standards for residential development. Since this isn't a commercial development, it's more of a home that is kind of a little bit different than your typical residence. So going over are the applicable statewide planning goals. So 2 of them were identified. The first one is the citizen involvement. This just says that we've sent notice out that there is going to be a public hearing on this item, both in front of the Planning Commission as well as the 2 in front of the City Council. And we've sent notices to property owners that the amendment's going to apply to. So we felt that this goal was met. The second goal has to do with housing. There is an Oregon statute that defines needed housing, and it includes housing for individuals with a variety of disabilities and also housing for older people. So the residential care facilities fall into the category of needed housing as defined by the state. That means that we, like I mentioned earlier, have to comply with that clear and objective standard for residential design. Looking through our comprehensive plan policies, there were 2 that were identified. So the first one has to do with economic development. The residential care facility, while it's not a traditional commercial development, and nor is it a traditional residential only development, there's additional jobs that are provided to take care of the residents from different service providers, which is a benefit to the local economic market. And the second policy has to do with housing, as mentioned earlier, that one of our specific policies of the city states that residential care facilities shall be permitted in designated areas in accordance with state statutes. This amendment adds 7 additional lots that are now eligible to be developed with the residential care facility with the approval of that conditional use permit. This just kind of allows for some extra flexibility in where development of these facilities can occur, since currently where they are permitted is in the areas that are zoned for apartments, and most of them have already been completely built out, and these type of facilities aren't something that's going to be able to run out of an existing apartment complex. So there's not a ton of spaces where residential care facilities can operate, so this just allows some extra flexibility with that. Looking at one of the criteria for within our municipal code, talks about that this amendment won't be detrimental to the general interests of the community. While the residential care facility houses up to 15 people, it's not going to generate the same level of traffic compared to if you were constructing a 15-unit residential development. Most of the people coming and going from this aren't the residents themselves, but just the caregivers and service providers that are going to and from the site. As mentioned earlier, since it is located on Halsey, we figured that that roadway is large enough to take any impact from any of those additional traffic trips that are going to and from the site, versus if it was located in a smaller, quieter residential neighborhood. Our recommendation is that the commission recommend approval to City Council of the proposed amendments as shown in attachment A. These are your 3 alternatives, and that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, and correspondence. Have we received any correspondence on this matter other than those items included in the agenda materials?
No.
Public testimony. Does anyone wish to speak in support of the amendments?
And I would just kind of like to call out, this is, it is a legislative amendment, but it is an applicant that is applying for this amendment. So I'd like to call out this opportunity for the applicant to speak on behalf of their request. All right.
Please speak up.
Yes, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Laura Quintiano, a provider living at the 2025 Northeast Halsey Street. I have been doing that for 25 years, and I just want to take the opportunity to thank you guys for being here and allowing me to at least try to have this approved, which I know for sure that it will benefit the community. And I got some notes, I'm a little nervous, I have to admit, I apologize for that, so.
Some of our ears might not work as good as
Is
others.
this mine?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So you can hold it for you if you'd like to get it closer.
The table's in little.
Something like this, okay. So I just want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I feel very honored and humbled at the same time, because I come from a country where even if you wanted to succeed, be like almost impossible to do so, as we live in a communist party. And I just want to say that I'm very, very thankful and I feel very lucky to be able to live in the United States. And for this reason, I want to tell you, growing up in situations where you can advance even if you wanted to, because there was a lot of like if someone would want to open up a business, then people will want to have inspections, unexpected inspections, and would walk in and then would have to pay them a big chunk of money to be able to not find you with anything or to shut you down. So, and I know this from friends and family that we're going through this in Romania, and I don't intend to speak bad about my country, but I just want to tell you how much I appreciate being here, and as were raised up to work really hard. That's how we've done it, and I've been here since '89, and ever since then I've worked really hard, and I'm just very, very thankful to God and to you guys for this opportunity. I want to thank Sarah that believed in us, and she was able to see what we've done, where we are located at the home. And I've been licensed with Multnomah County for the last 24 years, and so I was hands-on working. So I was a person that lived in the home of the residents, and I love doing this job. I've worked for just a little bit of my history, if you don't mind. I worked for Garden Unified School District back in California. I also worked for the post office, but this job was the best job for me, being that I'm providing care with the residents, and I always think of how lucky will I be in the future if I will be able to have this benefit down the road, to be able to have this care provided, to me if I get to that point. So I just want to say that this is a very much needed in the community. It's a major community need and public benefit, which addresses documented local need for assisted living and supporting housing, especially for senior people with disability or individuals that need supervised care. It reduces the government spendings and strain on hospital emergency services and long-term care institutions by providing appropriate residential support. And I want to bring this, I want to also mention that the county has a very difficult time finding placements for residents, such as being in the hospitals. They also have to use incentives for us providers to go to the hospital and bring the clients to our homes, because there are the vacancies. I mean, you're only allowed to have 5 residents, and there's always a demand in this area. I will just tell you that I've been around for 24 years, and I know how much is needed for more homes to open like this, or residential care facilities, or anything like that. This helps the residents remain in the community rather than being displaced to distant or overcrowded facilities. And it's as far as compatibility with neighborhood, if you go to a residential care facility, it has already had the residential. It is a home-like environment, and I can tell you that because I live in there, and my residents are very happy. I have residents that lived with us. Now I have one that's been with us for 15 years and one just in the 10 year. But all the residents that come into our home, they really stay a long time. Sarah could verify with the city, I have a very high reputation with Multnomah County. I've been around, like I said, 24 years. And I love what I'm doing. I really do. And that's why I'm committed to expand and help more people as needed. And I just, the appearance of the RCF is very much like a home. We're not like doing second level, and it also, it has a low traffic impact. Staff shifts and visitors, and also nurses, doctors, like hospital providers come and see the residents, and so it's pretty much it. And then we've been already running the home here for the last 3 years, and we're yet to have an ambulance with siren coming to the home. So unless it's a life-threatening emergency, when we call an ambulance, then we ask them to turn off the sirens, because, you know, if it's not life-threatening, there's no need for to disturb. But we haven't, like I said, we're pretty much very quiet based. This is very quiet and very helpful. It's also very well managed by very qualified professional, staff, and I've been licensed, and we are governed by the state of Oregon, and also right now Multnomah County, being that I'm an adult care provider, and we have they don't let us know when they come and inspect us or a monitoring visit. They happen, they just come in and go, and so we are very closely monitored by Multnomah County, and also the rules. We abide fully by the rules of the county and the state of Oregon. What else can I say is the facility will meet or exceed all state and local licensing requirements for safety, staffing, and resident care. We are 24/7 supervision. Even now as an adult care home, we are 24/7 supervision, which improves safety for the residents and the surroundings. It's also operated by qualified licensed professionals. We work with the hospitals, we work with the agencies that come and do physical therapy, and such as Providence, the dentist, and other agencies that just come and help the residents. So we work together as a team, and I just want to say that if allowed and approved, I will be happy to serve the community going forward. Thank you.
All right. Okay. We'll probably have questions for you, so
Yes.
don't go too far.
Okay, got it.
Does anyone wish to speak in opposition to the amendments? Okay. Is there any further testimony or further questions from the audience?
I don't think so. They presented our case very, very well.
Okay. So, number 8, staff comments. Does the staff have anything to add which specifically addresses a question raised during the testimony?
No.
Okay. 9, questions of clarification. Does any member of the commission have any questions regarding clarification of the testimony to this point? Anyone?
Yeah, I have a question. I didn't get a chance to drive by, so are you gonna convert an existing residence?
So we plan on that, correct? Yeah, so we just expand, we already have 7 bedrooms, so we would like to have 15 together, altogether.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, Steve.
Okay, thank you. I understand that there is more than one property that you're looking at potentially developing somewhere down the road, is that correct?
It is correct, we own 2 properties, and we intend to have both.
Are they adjacent lots?
They're both, if you guys can pull it out again, I can,
Just a curious question.
no problem.
Yeah, the two properties are
In the middle.
in the middle, with the furthest left red arrow is pointing to the existing facility, and the adjacent lot that's to the west of that.
I see.
So basically only one home separates us from the zoning allowed. But I'm very happy to be able to have this opportunity.
Other questions?
Yes, the property that you have already, that's the big house.
Yes,
Okay, and the one that you want to develop is the house next to it on the
that is
west side?
correct, that is correct.
Okay, are you going to demolish that, or are you going to just increase it?
That's, I would love to, I think we plan on demolishing it because we want to make everything new. But it's not necessary because we remodeled that house like inside, we remodeled it, so, but that was our goal, to demolish the home. To
And
make
how
it.
many cars will you have parked there at any given time?
So once we open, if it will be approved, then we will have just our family cars, and then we will have plenty of parkings from the two so we don't, because not everybody comes at the same time, and they come like, if a doctor has to come and see a client, they make an appointment once every 3 months, or a nurse or anybody, they don't all come at the same time, and it's usually, I would say 2 to 3 people, and we have more than that parkings, we have plenty parking.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Right, like I said, I drive by every single day, multiple times. There are a lot of cars, for sure.
Oh, no, so right now, I will have to excuse ourselves. My husband just opened up a dealer, and we're looking for a place to, for a building, so most of the cars that you see there will be removed. That's in very short time.
Okay.
Yeah, so those cars are not ours. I will tell you, we have 4 children. Out of the 4, 2 of them drive, and my husband and myself. So we have like 4 cars that we own, 4 or 5.
Right. Okay.
That was my question, because I see a lot of cars, because I will drive, if in the morning, if I have to go to Portland.
Yeah.
Early in the morning, I won't take the freeway, I take Halsey, so I'm going down, so I do see a lot of cars.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was my
that's gonna be resolved. I will
Okay.
guarantee you that we will not have a problem with that. We will not see cars, a lot of cars. But I do want to tell you that it will be at least 4 cars that belong to us as family. My daughter goes to school, and also she has a job. My son has a job, and so they all have to have their own car. And then I have 1 car, my husband has a car.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions?
Yep. So I do see a lot of cars that do live in that neighborhood, and then the tractor trailer that parks across the street belongs to someone.
So we don't own, we used to be in that business, but when did you quit?
That's not ours.
So we closed our business a long time ago. I would say at least a year ago, but maybe close to a year and a half. So I know we have a neighbor that does that, that's on 205th, and then there are other people, unfortunately, that come and park the truck over there. But we don't own the business, we don't own any more trucks.
When you have groups over there, is it your family, or that park in the school parking lot?
So, no, as a family, and we have some friends come join us, we do have Bible study at home. And so, but it's always just temporary, like within like the 2 hours limit, like period. But I was told that it's a public parking after school. And so usually we do it like from 7.
Right, that was my only question was, does the school allow you to use their parking lot as overflow parking for your facility? Because I know you don't have to have off-street parking, but I know you have parking there, and I know that your plan is to have parking on the property, but does the school allow that? Because it wouldn't just be for you that would, use the school for public parking or for parking. If all the neighbors next to you and on the other side of 205th, if they wanted to use the school for their overflow parking, then pretty soon it's not the school's parking, now it's everybody in the neighborhood's parking. I don't have a problem with your business. I think it's great, and having parking, creating parking on your property for overflow and for whatever family events you have, because I know that there's a family, a family usually occupies the space. I just see a lot of traffic seemingly across the street, and my concern is if we don't provide off-street parking, but we have parking other places, now we're using that as our off-street parking.
Sure, and I will just note to the commission that under this code amendment, when anyone is interested in developing a residential care facility, That will require a conditional use application, which brings the specific development proposal to the commission and with public notice and public testimony, and provides an opportunity for the commission to look at the specific impacts and the compatibility of the development that's proposed. So that would be an opportunity to consider potential traffic impacts, where vehicles would be parked associated with the use, et cetera. So that's
Excuse me, I could also tell you that the way the house is built, and the green part in the front of the house, that green area will be cemented. We will have parking spaces, and I can tell you, and I will tell you this, we will have enough parking for the business. And the business will have, like, when we use, and I would like to mention that when we submitted for the permits with the city of Fairview, there was, and I'm not sure if that will, or gives us the right to be able to use the parking lots, but we did pay a tax, a school tax of $8,000. And I thought maybe, but we were told that past 5 o'clock, past this, the school, once school closes, it's a free parking. That's one of the reasons when we do gather, we have people park across the street. But as far as the business, I will tell you, it will not interfere. We will not have people park across the street. I always make sure that they have parkings when they come to the home for the clients. But we will have, if allowed and approved, we will have two properties, and then we can also have parkings on the second home. So it will be more than enough parking for the residents.
Okay, thank you. And this is a legislative amendment, not like, we're not looking at your specific plans yet, so.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, there will be plenty of time to talk about parking.
Yeah, no problem.
Are there other questions? Other comments? Questions?
Just, this is more off the record than on, but it's being recorded, so I just want to thank you for coming to America and contributing to our society instead of trying to get something from it.
Yes, yes.
And I for one, appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
And she's right, this is just a legislative thing. When you start submitting the plans and everything, because there's, I don't know, what her plans are gonna be like compared to what the Halsey corridor redo is gonna look like and all that, or they even aware of that. But that's your business, that's not the commission's business, so that's it.
Okay, thank you. Can we close the public testimony? All right. Public testimony portion of the hearing is now closed. Oh, now we get. Discussion among commission members. Is there discussion by the commission? Right.
I just have a short comment. I think this is an excellent idea. I know out at Maloma Falls, we get a lot of groups that come out who are challenged, either physically or emotionally or mentally. And for the most part, they are the sweetest, kindest, most loving people we have in there. I have so much fun when they come out there. And if your facility is anything like the people who come out to Maloma Falls, I'm all for it.
Any other? I mean, we're supposed to be deliberating amongst ourselves.
I know.
And by the way, if anybody would like, you're more than welcome to stop by and see what's it all about.
Oh, goodness, okay. Well, if nobody has any comments then we can consider the ordinance.
I make a motion that we adopt number 1.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to recommend city council adoption of ordinance 032026 with the staff recommended code amendments, attachment A to the ordinance. Shall we do a roll call?
Yes. All right, Commissioner Dew,
Yes.
Commissioner Monero,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
Commissioner Walters,
Yes.
and Chair Bolton.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So we will be recommending that the city council adopt this amendment. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you so much for this partnership.
Thank you.
We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, Sarah.
All right. I might actually want to stop in sometime.
You know you have fun.
Okay. So tentative agenda, I believe we need to have some elections.
Yes, we do. So the planning commission meeting in February will include the annual election of the chair and the vice chair. And, you know, we have done this for the last few years, of course, where city council rules require the council to formally approve when the planning commission officers have served more terms than the code sort of standardizes. So it's the same process as last year. If the commission, you know, wishes to elect the same chair and vice chair, we'll just take that forward to the city council for their formal approval at the next meeting.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
yes.
Other tentative agenda items?
Other tentative agenda, so Alex and I have been doing a lot of work on the tree code amendments. We've been meeting with 3 different staff members from the Oregon Department of Community Forestry, community assistance foresters, who are tremendously knowledgeable and have a lot of experience working with urban trees, working with emerald ash borer, helping write standards. And so we've been working through a few different things, including changes to Chapter 12 of the municipal code, which governs essentially vegetation in the right-of-way and the sidewalk areas. We've been putting together a new standard construction detail for street tree planting, and updating the public works standard specifications or standards for street trees as well. And then we've been working on the actual list of permitted trees. So we're continuing to work through that, but we do have a planning commission work session scheduled for February. So the planning commission kind of serving as a sounding board for what we're bringing forward to the community and the council. We'll share at least some of that information with you and get your feedback on that to inform things moving forward.
That's great, I'm excited.
Yes, absolutely. And just in terms of, yeah, so that's the tentative agenda. And anything, yeah, that I missed?
Shall we move on to commission and staff updates?
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
do you have updates?
So I will just note, I think this was a question brought up just before the meeting. Yeah, as I think I announced previously, our Public Works Director, John Niyama, has retired. We are recruiting for a new Public Works Director currently. In the interim, we do have a former Public Works Director who served in the early 2000s, filling in on a kind of temporary basis for us, Bob Cochran. So that has been helpful, and if you hear his name or see him around, he's a great asset, and we're really thankful that he's able to fill in.
What's the timeline on the recruitment process?
It is open. We are accepting applications. And it's really just open until filled.
Okay, so we don't need to do the whole community interviews?
No, this is a little bit different. We are just doing our own internal recruitment so far. The city is not planning on using a firm like we do for a city manager recruitment. So it's possible we may move in a different direction and seek some outside assistance if we're not finding anyone. But for now, it's just sort of like a regular job recruitment for the city.
Did it go nationwide?
Yes, I mean, it has been advertised through a lot of different channels. Yes, so hopefully we will find somebody.
Okay.
Yes. So I just wanted to make that update. And then on the agenda, it does note state housing rulemaking as one of the other, just kind of a note. So I will, in the future, I will bring back, I think, more detail on this, but I just want the commission to be aware that the state has continued to go through some formal adoption of rules related to housing that have come out of legislation that was adopted in 2023, intended to support more housing production, housing affordability, and the city of Fairview is scheduled in 2027 to do our housing capacity analysis, and then in 2028 to develop a housing production strategy, which is really an action plan for how the city is going to meet our housing needs. We will then be required to complete those two efforts every 6 years. The state has a new process where the state is setting housing production targets through a very thorough process for each city within the state of Oregon. But it's then our responsibility through our housing capacity analysis to look at our buildable land, see where we have land that's either vacant or likely to redevelop, and how that land is zoned, and determine if we have enough land under current zoning and current development code to accommodate both the total number of housing units that we would expect to see over the next 20 years, as well as the specific types of units. Do we have enough, studio apartments? Do we have enough large apartments for families? Do we have enough, detached homes? Do we have enough housing that may be more suited for seniors? And do we have housing that's available at all of the different price levels that community members who will be looking to live in Fairview will need? So in 2027, we'll be going through sort of that analysis of what we have today in terms of land and zoning, and how that will fit in terms of the specific needs for residents in the future. The state did just complete a very thorough rulemaking process, and part of those rules put in place a lot of additional guidance and requirements for that housing capacity analysis, and for the housing production strategy, the action plan for how we'll actually get those housing units on the ground. And that rulemaking process also put in place some additional rules, some additional model code for housing that expands beyond just middle housing and detached single family housing, and also includes multifamily housing. It has been a very complicated, I think, set of rules that have been put together. There's a lot to them. The cities, I would say generally, the cities around the state have had a lot of concerns about our ability to implement them because of some lack of clarity, and just because it's adding additional work for us to get these housing rules put in place. And this has been expressed through the process. There were some changes that were made to the drafts to respond to concerns, but ultimately the Land Conservation and Development Commission did adopt the rules at the end of the year. I am honestly still getting up to speed a bit on what it will mean for Fairview, so I will report back on that. But just wanted to let you know that we're continuing to kind of try and keep up with all of these, additional requirements from the state. At the same time, we're also kind of getting into a metro process that's looking at where exactly, which locations in the city we can expect to accommodate future population, housing, and employment growth. So they take forecasted numbers for by how many people and how many households and how many jobs we're going to add to the city. And they have geographic sub areas across the city where we'll sort of allocate that growth to. So we're just kind of getting started on that process, which will be happening over the next couple of months. So a lot of analysis and thinking about the future and future growth and opportunities in Fairview. So I look forward to bringing some updates back to you on those projects. And then also kind of a little bit further into the future from DLCD, there were some housing bills adopted last year that the state is going to be going into this process of adopting more specific requirements for, and also just programs. So there's a program, House Bill 2258, created this Oregon Homes program. They're going to be putting together a suite of permit-ready building plans that could be pre-approved for development on eligible sites to make housing production easier and faster. And then there's another bill that's looking at coming up with a model system development charge method. So, and then the state rulemaking also required Metro, the regional government, to coordinate around housing production. So they now have a regional housing production strategy. I was part of the group that kind of reviewed that production strategy and helped to advise Metro on what those actions would be for Metro to take to help support the region in producing housing at in the locations and at the affordability levels that are needed. So a lot of work, all this to say, a lot of work is going on around the state, a lot of focus on housing. And so hopefully we will continue to get resources allocated in terms of grant funds. Metro is working on some revisions to the way that they would award some of their construction excise tax grants that could help cities who are looking to implement their housing production strategies, for example, those that have those in place or are looking to potentially attract development. So we'll be looking for opportunities to take advantage of that, as well as applying for state funding to get a consultant on board to help us with these processes over the next couple of years.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And then Alex, do you want to, I can't remember if we shared about the Tree City item at the last meeting that.
We were approved by the Tree City USA, I guess, commission. So we're going to get some stuff in the mail for us, but we were approved last year, which was very exciting. So we're continuing our tree work.
Of course, we couldn't get anybody to volunteer, but.
So we are the community forest assistance foresters that we've been working with. They have said that they can help us with some community outreach. So what we are thinking to do is, once we have the new standards and community development code requirements in place and adopted by the council, we want to share that information with homeowners and with contractors. So we are planning to do, probably in the fall, because that'll be a better time to plant trees, some like demonstrations, some training and some outreach to the community, so that we can just help instill best practices around how to plant street trees that are of the right type and the right place and the right planting methods to make sure that they succeed and thrive. So yes, we'll look for your help in getting volunteers out.
Any other updates?
Well, I was gonna say, given the fact we don't really have a lot of land available for development, it's gonna be fairly low impact for these coming state changes, right?
So I think that it will depend upon property owners who wish to further develop their lots. So, there are a lot of properties in Fairview that are sort of oversized and could be redeveloped by potentially adding another building on the lot to increase housing capacity. So that's one way in which I think we would expect to see more housing added in the future in terms of kind of infill development. It's also possible that a property owner could sell their lot. It could be torn down and something larger could be built. We haven't seen a whole lot of that in Fairview. We haven't really had that kind of development pressure, but that could change in the future. And then we have, you're right, we have a small number of sort of larger lots that could accommodate a bigger housing development or.
Infill and flag lots in the lot.
Yeah, I would say kind of in our commercial areas, we do have some property that's vacant at the corner of Fairview Parkway and Halsey on the northwest corner. So that's one place where we could accommodate a larger development. There's the property right down the street, that Heart of Fairview property. There's the site that's on Halsey between the Ukrainian Bible Church and the PGE substation that the developer is working on plans for. And then there are some, I think, underdeveloped properties potentially along the C&D Boulevard corridor that could also develop, one of which was approved for a development back in 2018. It's next to the All-Store storage condominiums. The developer did not end up being able to execute that project, but it is a property that I think, is developable, and we would expect to see something in the future.
What about the tribal land?
Oh, sorry, which one?
What about the tribal land behind Freddy's?
That's in Wood Village.
Yeah, that's what we're.
So, but yes, I think it will be a really, the city has not done an exercise like this for housing in quite some time. So it will be really important work that comes out in the end.
All right. Anybody else have an update? No? Nobody? All right. Do I hear a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Adjourn.
By the way, this is a